The Vermindom was a literal realm-shaking explosion whereby the Skaven infested every single realm, well, except for Azyr, simultaneously. And then parts of their mega realm city capital, Blight City, exploded into existence in all of these locations across the mortal realms, and this event had implications for every single faction. So I thought it would be kind of cool to make a video to talk about those implications, and all this information is from the core book. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can go and pick up a copy of the core book, but otherwise we're going to go and do a little bit of a dive into every single faction and what their reaction is to the Hour of Ruin. And if you're wondering what looks different, why are things weird, well, look, the display case is gone, my Gundams, my Warhammer, that's all gone right now. That's been moved into different spaces because I am moving in about a month-ish. I'll be moving to a new apartment, and I had to get rid of some things as we're downsizing into kind of like a smaller little area. So no more display case, but I will try to spruce up my display, you know, for the camera, for future videos. The Stormcast Eternals are fighting Skaven all over the realms. However, the Skaven corruption is so great that the skills and, more importantly, the innate resistance to chaos of the Ruination Chamber are required. These near soulless Stormcast descend from the bleak citadels to lead the charge into the more Skaven-infested and chaos-tainted parts of each realm. The question is, will their souls hold up? This may be their final act in service to Sigmar. While the Stormcast are fighting all over the realms, the Battle of Hellcrown in the realm of Aqshy was one of the most key engagements. The fortress belonged to Chaos once, but it was taken by the forces of Order and built into a city. Unfortunately, it seems that the might of the Skaven invasion is too great, and ultimately, the Stormcast Eternals will retreat from Hellcrown, giving up the city and a major strong point to hold back the tide of Skaven that's sweeping across Aqshy. The Hour of Ruin saw multiple cities of Sigmar fall. The Phoenicium and the newly established Emberguard are no more. Despite this, faith in Sigmar grows stronger in the free cities. After all, this isn't a populace used to peace and complacency, but a group of people that have struggled against every odd to make out their existence in the mortal realms. Despite this resiliency, the cities of Sigmar were hit hardest by the Hour of Ruin. The poisoning of the arcane ley lines by the Skaven has been causing realm gates to flicker and malfunction, cutting off supply lines, reinforcements, leaving smaller cities and settlements to fend for themselves. Even so, new Dawnbringer crusades set off from the cities, hell-bent on regaining what was theirs. Needless to say, the Hour of Ruin was not part of the Great Plan, which the Seraphon worked diligently to enact. The Seraphon mages were able to predict that the danger was coming, although they could not specifically see what was coming. This allowed them to shore up some ley lines and protect them from Chaos's taint. This was accomplished by moving key infrastructure like aqualiths to purify the realms. This caused some conflict with the citizens of affected towns, but now that the Vermindom has come to pass, nobody is complaining. The Lumineth are continuing on the same path they have been for years, working tirelessly to cleanse the lands of chaos. Since the Hour of Ruin, they have been focused specifically on the lands and Thema, burning massive sigils into the land to ward off chaos. These runes are powerful, but come at the cost of destroying all life that would sit upon the land being burnt. The populace of the mortal realms are losing faith in the Lumineth as their homes and towns burn, but the Lumineth will not stand to see another catastrophe befall the realms. The Vermindom was something of a boon to Morathi, at least in terms of gaining back the trust of her allies of Order. The Daughters of Khaine fight on the Charwind coast, defending Harkuron, formerly the free city of Anvilgard, which they annexed, but also they are protecting the outlying settlements and strongholds. The Witch Elves are the strongest force in the region, and the humans of the cities in that region owe their lives to Morathi's forces. Skaven can travel through spaces between the realms through knotholes, and these holes can even open underwater. The Idoneth may have thought that their enclaves would be safe, but they were wrong, and now they suffer Skaven assaults. This isn't without any positives, however, as the Skaven are providing the Idoneth with a steady supply of souls to patch their incomplete ones. These battles are also taking place on home turf for the Idoneth, making them better prepared than most to fight off the Skaven invasion. There are some internal politics at work here as well, with some settlements favoring working with more of the forces of Order to fight off the Skaven, and others are heading in the opposite direction, attacking any group in a hunt for souls, and this split makes the Idoneth hard to trust. The Sylvaneth might be the most impacted faction by the Vermindoom. Already a colossal battle with Nurgle's forces was being waged on the daily, but now, with the explosion of Skaven attacks, but also the poisoning of the ley lines, the Sylvaneth find themselves being cut off from many of their groves. Soul pods in Sylvaneth are being slaughtered by the hundreds, and massive deforestation efforts by Clan Skyr are taking place in Ghyran. This will be the most harrowing test the Sylvaneth have ever faced. The Kharadron are fighting the Skaven in all realms as many skyports come under attack by Skaven warpstone blimps and other insane inventions. With many free cities and settlements under attack and compromised, the Kharadron traders and fleets have no place to refuel or to trade. Acquisition of Aether Gold is down, and without it the faction will fall, literally. On top of this, the Kharadron have sent forces to Akshi to help their kin, the Fyreslayers. With the Skaven proving a difficult technological adversary, trying times are ahead for the Kharadron Overlords. The Fyreslayers have magma holds in all the mortal realms, and so are facing Skaven incursions regularly. This is a challenge that's being met by the warrior dwarves with many grudges to settle and their homes to defend. The holds in Akshi are in particular danger, but with help from the Stormcast, the Free Cities, and the Kharadron Overlords, the forces of order hope to take back their land and fight off the invasion of Skaven. The Skaven brought about the Hour of Ruin by poisoning ley lines and arcane nexus points across all of the realms, with Azir being the exception. In the core book, we see maps of almost every realm, and you can see that they all have at least 3 to 4 Skaven invasion points, with some realms having as many as 10. The Skaven are no longer in the dark beneath cities and mountains plotting grand schemes. Well, actually, they might still also be in those places, but now they are all over the surface and plotting grand schemes there as well. There are several consequences of this. First, entire cities are being wiped out, and those that survive are under siege, or if they are not close to the incursion points, they might have trade disrupted or difficulty acquiring natural resources. The second consequence is the empowering of the Chaos God, the Great Horned Rat, who is now formally joined the Great Game with Slaanesh, Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. There are 5 Chaos Gods now rather than 4, and the Skaven couldn't be happier. The Vermindoom was partially the workings of Archaon as he looked to disrupt the Chaos Gods and consolidate more power for himself. Slaves to Darkness was directly involved in the lead up to the Hour of Ruin, as the Dark Oath tribes worked to help the Skaven poison the ley lines that led to Blight City blasting into the realms. However, they did not know that this is what they were doing, and many Dark Oath have had their villages and lands compromised. This has led them to swear an oath of revenge against the Skaven, and some chaos infighting is now expected. Not that the forces of chaos are strangers to fighting each other on the path to glory. We don't get a lot of information about the Blades of Khorne, but we are told that the Blood Gods' demons are leading his hordes across the lands, purging any remnants of cities and armies that have not been able to retreat to civilization. In general, I don't think that the Skaven invasions affect Khorne's forces on the ground that much. Their goal is still the same. They are still assaulting the free cities across Akshi, and if Skaven get in the way, then they will pay in blood as well. The Hour of Ruin has been a long time coming for the disciples of Tzeentch. Cults hidden in cities all over the realms have revealed themselves at the worst possible moment for the City Watch to deal with them. Entire populations have been sacrificed, enslaved, or converted to minions for the God of Change. How did the Skaven learn so much about the ley lines that they wanted to poison, you may wonder? Well, some say that Tzeentch may have made information regarding them available to the Skaven to help progress his mysterious plans and bring about change onto the realms. Clans Pestilens of the Skaven are spreading disease, furthering the Plague Father's plans. This is helping push the war of life versus disease in Ghyran towards Nurgle's forces. While the Skaven and Nurgle's goals may look like they align, Papa Nurgle's armies are only tolerating the Skaven who seek to destroy life and not revel and bask in the rebirth that is granted by Nurgle's diseases. We don't have any official information on what the Hedonites of Slaanesh are up to in the Hour of Ruin, but much like the disciples of Tzeentch, the events will provide an ample stage for rebellion to take place and for the cults of Slaanesh to reveal themselves. Heroes of order will be made on the battlefield, and those who survive and look to glory must look carefully, as Slaanesh's influence can take hold quickly, corrupting their soul. Merchants may see an opportunity to turn a fortune in a wartime condition, but their greed can drive them into Slaanesh's waiting arms. To put simply, anytime temptation rears its head in humanity, Slaanesh will be there. The Skaven invasion has provided copious amounts of bones for the Ossiarch Bonereapers to craft into their soldiers, war machines, and weapons. The core book mentions that Catacrosis' forces have swelled to the point that quote-unquote unprecedented gains have been made. However, the book also mentions that the Skaven bones have proved to have flaws. Warriors crafted from these bones have had outbursts, breaking the perfect unity of the Ossiarch legions. Citadels made from these Skaven bones have begun to peel and crumble, revealing black bone marrow. These faults come from the chaotic energy contained in the Skaven, likely the biggest factor being the copious amounts of warpstone that the average Skaven is exposed to. Similar to the Ossiarch Bonereapers, who have their new supply of bones, the Soulblight Gravelords have an unending supply of Skaven blood. However, once again, we are told of the consequences of utilizing such a resource. Vampires are generating rat-like characteristics, not just in their mannerisms, but in some case mutations, such as tails, teeth, and other qualities have appeared. Vampires that have gone too far down this path can be executed by their own kind. Others are shunned socially. Some vampires have fully drained their own blood and found a more pure source to resupply their bodies. Those that have attempted this have successfully reversed the rat conversion process, but at the cost of excruciating pain throughout the entire process of replacing their blood. We are starting to see a theme here, as the Hour of Ruin has some positives for the Nighthaunt as well. As many mortals fight the Skaven in an attempt to defend their homes and then die in the process, the ranks of the Nighthaunt continue to swell. Thousands upon thousands of souls are making their way daily to Shyish. Those filled with hate for the Skaven can be converted by Nagash into powerful Nighthaunt specters that specifically want to do away with the forces of chaos. However, a similar problem that the Stormcast Eternals are facing is also put to the Nighthaunt. Only the most hardy of the Nighthaunt can brave some of the more chaos-tainted regions of the realms, meaning that the Skaven are gaining territory that the Nighthaunt cannot survive in. The honorable, at least they think so, Flesh-Eater courts ride into battle across the realms to face the Skaven incursion in an effort to save the people of the realms and the cities of Sigmar. Again, that's just what they think they are doing. But now this may actually come to pass because they are fighting the Skaven all over the place. But at the same time, any settlement or city saved by the Flesh Eaters will soon face destruction by them anyway, either in the form of mordants looking for a meal, or maybe a city's populace rising in madness after consuming the King's Blood wine, the blood of the Mortarch of Delusion himself, Ushoran. We have 3 different Orruk war clans to cover here. First, we're going to talk about the Ironjawz. They are simply relishing the chance to fight with the Skaven anywhere that they can find them. They do not like the cowardly tricks employed by the Skaven, who aren't really ones to fight in open battle, but the Orruks do find satisfaction in taking down some Skaven monstrosities and war machines as a challenge. The Kruleboyz have taken the Hour of Ruin as a challenge that the Skaven have outwitted them and outtricked the Orruks. They are fighting back, and in doing so, in the most cunning way possible. The book doesn't really elaborate on this, but I imagine that many a Skaven are being ambushed and caught by the Kruleboyz if they are foolish enough to attack the swamps in which the Orruks dwell. Finally, we have the Bonesplitterz, who have left the Age of Sigmar range in 4th edition, and this is explained lore-wise by the Hour of Ruin. The Skaven invasion and the chaos taint of the Warpstones and the Great Horned Rat was too much for the Bonesplitterz to handle. Some went mad and fought to the death, and others relied on their shamans to guide them. The plan was that the shamans came up with was to travel to the realm's edge to bash the elemental incarnates that lived there. And by doing this, they believed they would calm themselves down. They would calm the realms down. And after the Vermindoom had brought so much chaos with it, that's exactly what was needed. Either way, this worked to varying degrees for the Greenskins as they distanced themselves from the Skaven and all the chaos, and they concentrated on bashing those elementals. Many began to feel better. So whether these changed Bonesplitterz will ever return to the inner lands of their realms remains to be seen. The Grots of the Gloomspite Gitz venture onto the surface to expand their damp and dark domain, and also to search for bottles because they love bottles. However, in their deepest, darkest, and most inhospitable layers, they now face a war they did not see coming. Normally, these spaces would be too revolting for any aside from the Gitz to endure, but the Skaven are appearing in numbers and are not troubled by the environment. The Gloomspite Gitz now face a fight to protect their homes. The Ogor Mawtribes hate the Skaven. There is only so much rat meat you can eat after all. And the Skaven also devour the land itself, removing anything else that the ogres may eat. Many of the Skaven have died by ogre hands for this transgression against their palate, but many more ogres are taking up the mercenary life, working with the cities of Sigmar to ensure varied and delicious meals are forthcoming. The Sons of Behemat are killing the Skaven by the hundreds, and many of the Gargants are now working with the cities of Sigmar on crusades and campaigns. However, many Gargants have also been slain by the Skaven, as the overwhelming numbers will eventually flood a Gargant's defenses. The core book talks about Skaven using warpstone caltrops to collapse a Gargant before targeting their eyes specifically to leave them susceptible to a wave of Skaven clan rats. Well, that's how the Hour of Ruin is affecting every single faction. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you all in the next one.